Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must get the best out of Donny van de Beek. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has promised Donny van de Beek more game time at Manchester United. He did make an admission prior to the game against Liverpool in the FA Cup. He said that Donny van de Beek is unhappy with his lack of playing time. He spoke about him earlier on this season, and he said he insists that Donny van de Beek has a bright future at Manchester United, and he tips him to emulate Fred and Lindelof by succeeding at the football club. The vast majority of Donny van de Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league, and that was against West Ham and Southampton. Van de Beek can play in like 3 different roles. You can put him as a box-to-box midfielder. That was his predominant position at Ajax. You can also put him as a number 10. We started him in the number 10 against Liverpool. It was good that he was involved in the game against Liverpool, but he was quiet. And you can also put him out wide. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Ajax last summer. We paid £35 million up front and there was £5 million in add-ons. And he has got a contract with the club until 2025. Now, ESPN recently said that we rejected several loan offers for Donny van de Beek, so we are blocking him from leaving in this January transfer window. I think it said towards the end of last year that Inter Milan were willing to take him on loan. Ronald de Boer earlier on this season urged Donny van de Beek to leave to boost his chances for the Euros, and like I updated you on, the Ajax CEO Edwin van der Sar said that he spoke to people at Man United about Donny van de Beek, and he says Man United remain confident that Donny van de Beek will be a success at Old Trafford. And he said that, he's been showing fantastic attitude in training despite his lack of game time. But to be honest with you, I expected him to play a lot more than he has done, so Solskjaer has got to keep giving him opportunities. Because when he plays, he is a very, very good player. And obviously now it's unlikely that we're going to make any signings in this January transfer window. Now, I want to give you some news on Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba will find it tough to leave Manchester United if we win the Premier League this season. This is what Rio Ferdinand believes. Now, it did say after the Fulham game that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club. That means staying at Manchester United. And not so long ago, he contradicted his agent, Minio Raiola, for the second time. Paul Pogba's future is on hold until the end of the season. Paul Pogba could end up signing a long-term contract at Manchester United. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that Paul Pogba can be convinced to stay at the club if the club win trophies. But to Paul Pogba's credit, he has done very, very well since he come back from that ankle injury that he had earlier on this season. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury, and not so long ago he had a minor injury. Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, told 2 Sport last month that his client's career at Man United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave, and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. He has been linked to a move to PSG. He said the other week that Mino Raiola was talking with PSG, and he said a few weeks ago that Mauricio Pochettino identified Paul Pogba as his top target. Pogba's been relentlessly linked with a return to Juventus. Paul Pogba did endure 4 exceptional years with Juventus, and swap deals have been high on the agenda. Don't forget Juventus offered us Aaron Ramsey as part of a swap deal for Pogba. We rejected it. They also offered us Douglas Costa as part of a swap deal for Pogba. We rejected it. And Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with him. It said a few weeks ago we had revealed our asking price and we want £75 million. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. During the last international break, like I've updated you so many times, Paul Pogba made quite a few comments saying that he endured the most difficult period in his career. He was saying like playing for France was a breath of fresh air. And in general, he was talking about his struggles at Man United. This is obviously before he got in form. And obviously, reflecting on them comments at that point, he did receive a lot of criticism. You know, this is what his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. You know, he's won 3 trophies at the club so far. That was the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. We did have him when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. And he's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. And recently in the league, we've been putting Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role. But yeah, he did look certain to leave, but obviously now he's inspiring our title challenge. So, you know, that's a bit more news on Paul Pogba. You know the news on Jadon Sancho. I give you the news on him earlier on today. According to Sport 1, we have been handed a major boost in our pursuit of Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund are relying on Jadon Sancho's sale for the summer. Dortmund are expecting losses of around 88 million because of the coronavirus pandemic. Borussia Dortmund are expecting Jadon Sancho to leave this summer. So, reflect on that, Dortmund probably will be forced to lower their demands. Raphael Hoggenstein, who's a German football expert, he came out the other week and said his move to Man United in this window is possible, but he said it's unlikely. He says negotiations could resume in spring. Now, earlier on this season, Sancho made an admission saying that, you know, he's endured a difficult season at Dortmund, but he said he was happy that he was back among the goals. He's done well recently though, Sancho, but the Borussia Dortmund CEO came out earlier on this season and he explained why Sancho was struggling because he was expected to join us last summer. Don't forget last summer he was our number 1 priority target, and you had Fabrizio Romano, who was a very reliable Italian journalist, talking a lot about the Sancho saga. Bill's Christian Falk was talking about it a lot. Dortmund's valuation last summer was £108 million. We was not willing to meet that valuation. They said a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed. Even a contract had been agreed. But yeah, the fee was a stumbling block. We had until the 10th of August, don't forget, last summer, so we missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. This is his fourth season now at Dortmund. Analysing the vast majority of his career at Dortmund, he's been consistent. You know, he's got a contract with Dortmund till 2023. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. But we did say we believe we can get him for less than £100 million this year. Now, you already know the news on Declan Rice from West Ham. Recent narratives have said that West Ham are considering lowering their asking price to £50 million for Rice, but West Ham initially value him at £80 million. Now, I would certainly take Declan Rice at Man United because he's young, he's got a lot of development in him, his performances for West Ham have been good, and he's well Premier League proven. Age of 22, predominantly a holding midfielder, breaks up the play well, but he can also play as a centre-half. This was stemmed from ESPN the other week, saying that Man United are set to rival Chelsea for Rice. Mentions now Liverpool are in for him. I don't think Chelsea are no longer in for him now, obviously with Lampard getting sacked recently. You know, Lampard wanted Rice at Chelsea and Lampard was infuriated when he missed out on him. Rice has been at West Ham for several years. He's got a contract at West Ham till 2024 and there's also an option of a further 12 months to extend his contract. Now, a few days ago, I did give you the news on Christian Eriksen. You do know the news on Dayot Upamecano. This was prior to the Liverpool game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer urged us to beat Liverpool to the signing of Upamecano. And he said that Man United and Liverpool go head-to-head in the race for Upamecano. But Sky Sports recently said that Bayern Munich were in advanced talks for the player. And it did actually say that Bayern Munich are emerged as the favourites. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, Bayern Munich's CEO, confirmed Bayern Munich's interest. RB Leipzig's CEO came out a few weeks ago and he said we will sell our top performers again if that makes financial sense. And Upamecano confirmed he will be leaving a while ago. It cost us around 55 million if we was to get him in this window, but we know that he's going to be available for around £38 million at the end of the season because that's when his release clause does become active. Last year, he signed a new contract with Leipzig until 2023. And Leipzig paid just €10 million for him from Red Bull Salzburg. But I would take him, you know, because he'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line. You know, Kalidou Koulibaly, he's recently been on our agenda. But like I've said to you, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave us an update on our transfer plans earlier on this window, and he did say that January signings are unlikely. And Sky Sports recently said that Solskjaer says signings are long term, not a quick fix. I think it mentioned that we are looking to make though around 4 signings this year to complete our squad overhaul. And I've given you the 3 areas where I think Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a world-class midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. So yeah, in this window, we are focusing on the outgoings more rather than the incomings. Solskjaer did actually say prior to the Fulham game that 1 or 2 more players could leave Man United in this window. And in general, he admitted there could be further more departures. Now, obviously, Solskjaer has already confirmed that Romero and Marcus Rojo are free to leave in this January window because he says, you know, their contracts won't be extended. Now, you know the news on Jesse Lingard. I give you the news on him earlier on today. Jesse Lingard is set to leave Manchester United because ESPN recently said that we've agreed to let him go out on loan. But actually, Solskjaer said at one point that he wanted Lingard to stay this month. But anyway, West Ham are leading the race. He said that West Ham are set to sign him on loan until the end of the season. I think he wants to go to West Ham, but it does mention that West Brom have made an inquiry that's stemming from Sky Sports. Newcastle and Sheffield United have also been interested in him. It said a few weeks ago that Nice were in for him. There was talking with his representatives, but then Nice dropped out. Villa have been in for him. Sociedad were in for him towards the end of last year. Celtic and Rangers were also in for him last year. Lingard obviously wasn't part of the squad for the game against Liverpool in the Cup recently. Amad Traore is now taking his place. We did trigger that 1 year extension on Jesse Lingard's contract. Lingard hasn't played in the Premier League for us since July. This season, he's played in 2 Carabao Cup games and he played in the FA Cup third round against Watford, but he lost his place in the team a while ago. He's made 133 appearances in the Premier League. Odion Ighalo, I think he said his goodbyes to Man United. His loan expires at the club on the 31st at the end of this month. Like I said, Ighalo seldom plays. But to his credit, he was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season. The main explanation we recommended him in January of last year on loan was to obviously get a cover up for Rashford because at the time Marcus Rashford was out with that back injury. Daniel James, there's obviously been rumours of him, leaving because, Daniel James has lost his place in the team and there's obviously been rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan. Brandon Williams is our third choice left back following the arrival of Alex Telles, and I think more players could leave Man United in the summer. This January transfer window is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window at the club. And obviously Ed Woodward promised that, he will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Even through the bad periods we had under him, Woodward still assured that his job was safe, and Woodward did say towards the end of last year that he will back Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. And a lot of United fans, including me, have criticised the board for a long time now, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been, and we've also overpaid for players, and a lot of mistakes have been made since Ferguson left. That's why I was inconsistent for so long. But Solskjaer said our fine form justifies the club's support. So what he means in that aspect is, with the backing he has received recently, and that's played a part in our good vein of form. But yeah, Solskjaer has made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million at the club. In the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January of last year, he recommended Bruno Fernandes in and Odion Ighalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of last year, he recommended Van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Traore. And I do like the way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has promoted the youth, because a lot of the young players have been given their chances, and he's also brought more young players into the football club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is making good progress at Manchester United now. I think, performances are improving, players are improving. So it's good to see Solskjaer's getting the best out of the players. We've been very, very good away from home in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are unbeaten in our last 17 Premier League away games. We equalled that record from the 98-99 season. Now, if we do beat Arsenal at the weekend, we would have broken that record. We haven't lost in the league since the start of November. The last team to beat us was Arsenal 1-0. So we are unbeaten in our last 13 Premier League games. We'll extend it to 14 if we beat Sheffield United tomorrow night. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. Obviously lost that to Man City 2-0. He's got us to the 5th round of the FA Cup. We play West Ham, beat Liverpool in the 4th round 3-2. Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season. Got us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and also got us 3rd. And I think his decision making is starting to improve. Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager for over 2 years now. I'd say reflecting now on he's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learned quite a bit on the job. Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career and I think he's managed over 100 games as Man United manager in all competitions. And, this is his 2nd full season at Manchester United. And Solskjaer knows how important it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. There's 3 trophies we can pursue this season now. We can win the Premier League, we can win the FA Cup, and we can also win the Europa League. We haven't won a trophy for just over 4 years. We're top at the moment as it stands. Well, should I say City are going to be top because they're thrashing West Brom right now. Obviously, if we beat Sheffield tomorrow, we're back top. Solskjaer's been playing mind games in that in recent weeks. He did say prior to the Burnley game, we must stay humble and not think we've cracked it if we go top. He said after our 1-0 win against Wolves earlier on this season that we're not in the title races yet, but he said if we are still challenging in March, he'll start to believe that we are in the title race. If we do win the Premier League, it will be our first Premier League title since 2013 and it will be our 21st overall. But to be honest with you, I think we deserve credit for sticking with Solskjaer because he could have easily have been sacked as Man United manager and he has been under pressure quite a few times. And he has received a lot of criticism, especially earlier on this season, reflecting how inconsistent we was. But yeah, obviously, with how good we've been in recent months, a lot of United fans have changed their perception on Solskjaer. And don't forget, Mauricio Pochettino was the favourite to replace him. When Solskjaer got appointed in as Man United manager, he was inheriting a lot of the deadwood, and he's still inheriting some of the deadwood now. He has got rid of some of the deadwood though since he's come in. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's. Solskjaer knew when he came in he had a lot to do, and he knew it was going to be a massive job. He knew he had to come in and make the right signings, and he hadn't got all the players that he wanted, but he still made good signings. He knew he had to get rid of the deadwood, and he has to his credit. And he knew he had to get us back to where we belong. And at the moment, Solskjaer's bringing the old Man United back. Reflecting how good we've been in recent months. And we are getting glimpses of the Sir Alex Ferguson era. because we have come from behind in a lot of games this season. Putting the stats into circulation now, you can say Solskjaer's our best manager since Ferguson. Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since Ferguson. We've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson left, and that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And, we're not even really known as a sacking football club. Like I say, we're going to sell players this year, but there's also a lot of players we are going to keep at the club. Obviously, we're going to keep the likes of Rashford. We're going to keep Martial, despite him being out of form for the vast majority of this season. We're also going to keep Edison Cavani because he's delivered the goods since he's come in. We're obviously going to keep Mason Greenwood. We're going to keep Bruno Fernandes. We're going to keep Donny van de Beek for now. Like I said, hopefully Solskjaer gives him more opportunities. We're also going to keep Fred because he's really, really improved. We're going to keep McTominay. He can be good when he wants to be. We're also going to keep Luke Shaw because he's really, really improved defensively and he's getting forward well. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. I think we're also going to keep Harry Maguire because he's also improved, but still wasn't worth the £80 million that we paid for him. We're going to keep Bay for now. He's played really, really well since he started playing again. My only element of concern about Eric Bay is that he's injury prone. And Wan-Bissaka, we're also going to keep him. We're going to keep De Gea for now. De Gea's getting back to his best, and he is going to remain our number 1 for at least this season, is David De Gea. This is 10th season at Man United, so he has been a long servant. A few years ago, he was regarded as one of the best, or was, the best goalkeeper in the world. And I think we'll keep Dean Henderson, and I think at some point Dean Henderson will be our number 1 because I think in the games he's played in this season he's done very, very well. And, like I said, we could be keeping Paul Pogba potentially past the summer. We'll keep Tellez. Surprisingly, Tellez is not our first choice left back. Luke Shaw still remains our first choice left back, but Tellez hasn't played as much as I expected, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. We do play Sheffield United tomorrow night. I've already given you my preview for the game. I give you my starting 11 prediction, or I think Man United could line up, and earlier on today I give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. Now I'll go through with you again. Solskjaer spoke about a few things in the press conference building up to this game. Obviously, he gave his verdict on Frank Lampard getting sacked from Chelsea. He said it wasn't really his job to really talk about what's going on at Chelsea, but he said, Lampard will bounce back and he will have a good managerial career. And it's actually good that Solskjaer outlasts Frank Lampard. Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard after just 18 months in charge, but Chelsea are known as a sacking club because they have sacked so many managers in a short period of time. He also mentioned Lingard, mentioned Brandon Williams, and he mentioned Facundo Pellistri. He was mentioning that, that they are still part of the club, but Solskjaer, said that Facundo Pellistri is likely to go out on loan. Also mentioned Amad Diallo Traore. He's promised Man United fans it won't be too long now before we see Amad Diallo Traore. And he said not so long ago that Amad Diallo Traore could be part of the first team squad in the next few weeks. We got Amad Diallo Traore in a deal worth £37 million. Obviously, with add-ons included, we paid £19 million up front. Traore to Man United was official earlier on this month, but actually the deal was agreed last October. Like I said, he gave us an update on Marcus Rashford. He's confirmed that Marcus Rashford is available because he has been training. Marcus Rashford suffered a knee injury in our 3-2 win against Liverpool with just 4 minutes to go. Solskjaer has confirmed that he's not had any discussions yet over a new contract at Man United. His current contract expires at the end of next season, because when Solskjaer got the job permanently in March 2019, he signed a 3-year deal. And Solskjaer, during the press conference, also give his thoughts on the form of Greenwood and Edison Cavani. So there were the things that I mentioned. But yeah, we should be beating Sheffield tomorrow night. Like I said, Sheffield have not beaten us in the Premier League since, 1992, and we are unbeaten in our last 10 games against Sheffield in all competitions. I can assure Sheffield are going down this season. They've only won 1 game in the Premier League so far. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.